Howdy everyone, welcome to Keep Math Easy. A rock is dropped off the top of a 700-meter building. How long does it take the rock to hit the ground? What is the speed and velocity of the rock just before it hits the ground? So this is a pretty basic physics problem that we will break down into 3 simple steps. As with any physics problem, step 1 is always to start by listing out your knowns and your unknowns. So this problem tells us that the rock is dropped from the top of the building. So that gives us V initial is 0 meters per second. It tells us that the building is 700 meters tall. So we know that the distance the rock travels is 700 meters in this case. It is asking how long does the rock take to hit the ground. So we don't know t, and it's asking for the speed and velocity of the rock just before it hits the ground. So we also are trying to solve for v final. And we know that acceleration, as always, is negative 9.8 meters per second squared. So step 2 is to use our physics formulas to solve this problem. The formula we need to use today is distance equals v initial times time plus 1/2 acceleration times time squared. And we have to do a little bit of algebra because we are trying to solve for time, and we know distance, we know v initial, and we know acceleration, but we don't know time. So we have to do a little bit of algebra here. So we know that because v initial is 0, we can simply cross this off of our equation, and then for the remainder of the equation, we can say that d equals 1/2 at squared. So now we have to do some algebra. So we multiply both sides by 2. So we get 2d equals at squared. Now we need to divide both sides by a to get t by itself. So now we have t squared equals 2d over a. And now to get t, we need to square root both sides. So we get t equals the square root of 2d over a. And now to solve for t, we simply plug in our d and a variables. So we get the square root of 2 times 700 meters divided by negative 9.8 meters per second squared. And if we plug that into our calculator, we get t equals 11.95 seconds. Now, the second part of our equation asks what is the speed and velocity of the rock just before it hits the ground. So now, because we know t, we can simply use our formula Vf equals v initial plus acceleration times time. So if we plug in our numbers, we get Vf equals 0 meters per second plus negative 9.8 meters per second squared times 11.95 seconds. So now if we plug that into our calculator, we get Vf equals negative 117.1 meters per second. But this problem also asks us to solve for speed, and since speed has no positive or negative sign associated with it, we know that speed is a positive 117.1 meters per second.